So welcome to today's push session, guys. Chest, shoulders and triceps is what we're training. We've had a week off, but we're back to it. The theme of this video is going to be excuses, all right? And what it means to be making excuses or not making excuses, how that ties into discipline. I had last week off for reasons which I'll get into. But the main thing is that we're back. So we're doing 3 sets. Our first set is going to be our heavier set. We'll drop the weight for the last 2 sets. First set, we're aiming for about 6 to 8 reps. Yeah, no, about excuses, you can make excuses all you want. The only person that's going to affect is you. Ultimately, there's always going to be an excuse. You'll always be able to find an excuse to do something that you know you have to do. There's always going to be an excuse. There may be validity to that excuse, Your excuse may be somewhat valid. If there was no validity to it, you wouldn't be using it as an excuse, right? So my excuse for why I wasn't training last week was that my car was in the garage. And with working full time and everything else I've had going on this week, there's been a lot of curveballs life has thrown at me. And it's been my choice, my decision to give in to those excuses. Ultimately, I probably could have found a way around them. Would it have made my life infinitely more inconvenient and difficult? Of course it would. But there was a way around it, and I made a choice to let those excuses get the better of me, to give those excuses power over my actions. I'm the one that's in control of when I do and don't give into those excuses. And even today, there was many excuses I could have found to not train today. But I chose not to give into them. I've had curveballs thrown at me today. My courtesy car broke down this morning, but I found a way. It might not have been as was originally planned, but we change the plan in real time. We cross bridges as they arise. If someone told you that there was 50 grand waiting for you at the other side of your city. You knew where it was, you knew how to get to it. 50 grand waiting for you. No one else has access to it, it's yours. Would you sit there and make excuses and say, oh, I don't have a car and I don't have the time or I don't have the energy? You wouldn't sit there and make excuses. You get off your ass and find any which way possible to get yourself over to that 50 grand. So if you find yourself making excuses for why you can't go to the gym, you know, and I get it, right? We have to work, we have to survive. But ultimately, if you wanted it badly enough, your excuses would not be strong enough to stop you, you know? So it's not a case of your excuses are valid. It's more of a case of you don't see the value of going to the gym strongly enough, or that value isn't as important to you as it needs to be for you to find the time. So it's that simple, right? If you want something badly enough, you will find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. It's a true saying, you know? So again, you know, you can sit there all you want and make your excuses. I'm still getting my money, I'm still training, right? The only person that it's affecting is you. So instead of focusing on your excuses and why you can't make the time or why you struggle to go to the gym, how about you focus more on what going to the gym would do for you, how it would change your life, you know? Think of the physique that you've always wanted, you know? Think of yourself being in a good headspace, you know? What's the value in that? And if the value in that is strong enough for you, or if there's enough value in that for you, then that's what you need to focus on. Because the more you focus on the value that you're receiving, what you're actually getting out of it, it will make it easier to overcome those excuses that your brain creates. Remember guys, I'm exploding up and I'm controlling it nice and slow, all right? Just gonna rest for a little bit and get on our next set. So that was only 8 reps on that set, but still within our rep range. And did a few cheat reps, if you want to call it, and controlled it down at the end. So just keeping the intensity and a way of pushing to true failure. So yeah, happy with that set. Got a couple more. Oosh. You know, excuses making excuses ties into discipline. The more disciplined you are, the less likely you are to give in to your excuses. Because ultimately, discipline is doing something regardless of the circumstances. It's doing something you said you were going to do, regardless of how you feel, regardless of anything unforeseen that has, arisen. You're still getting the job done. And, listen, I've been training a long time, over a decade, right? And I haven't been training every single day for 10, 11 years, I've had periods of times where I haven't been training. And one thing I've noticed about myself is that the longer I go without training, the harder it becomes to get myself back into it. Because the more days that elapse from your last session, the easier it becomes to justify one more day. I haven't been in months. What difference is one more day gonna make? And it's true, really, one more day won't make much of a difference if you've already had over 30 days off. But it's not about that one day that you're losing. It's about the mindset. It's the mindset of delaying it, procrastinating, right? I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. I'll start back at the gym Monday. How many times have you said that to yourself? I'm gonna start at the gym Monday. So, discipline is doing something whether you like it or not. And the more disciplined you are, the more you can trust your own word and have confidence that you're gonna do the things that you say you're gonna do, the easier it becomes to stay into that routine. So the bottom line of what I'm saying is, guys, is if for whatever reason, you fall off or you miss a day, it's not the end of the world. The most important thing is pick it back up. When are you gonna pick it back up? The following day? The following week? Are you gonna use that same excuse the next day, the next day? That's what it comes down to. So, you gotta ask yourself, how bad do I want it and what am I willing to do to get it? Only you can make that decision. So I probably didn't rest enough on that set between my last set. So I'm gonna rest a good 2 to 3 minutes now and attack my last set. Fucking hell. All right, that's military press done. Gonna do some pec deck, just to burn out the chest. Pec deck, machine flies, any variation of a fly will be sufficient because the focus is the contraction on this one. We're not worried too much about pushing heavy weight. So, 3 sets, 10 to 15 reps. What weight did I do last week? All right. All right, second set. Again, slow and controlled, yeah? Focus on the squeeze on this one. Aye. All right, that wraps up chest. We're gonna do some side laterals, triceps, and that'll wrap up the session. All right, so you saw I dropped the weight for the last 2 sets. I was focusing more on control and keeping the tension on my side delts. So I was only coming down to around about here, and then we're back up. All right, if you go any lower than here, start to take the tension off the delts a little bit, all right, because gravity is pulling the weight downwards, so there isn't any tension in the muscle here, all right. And as it gets harder, you know, you might need to come down a little bit lower, and you might not be able to come up as high, but again, you're just burning through the entire range of motion until you've got nothing left. wraps up today's push session, guys. Thanks again for joining me. See you in the next one.
Hold me close till I get out.